Welcome, broadcasting to the entirety of the Super Smash Bros. Community. This is Beyond the Metagame. I'm your host, Peon, this week live from Hollywood Boulevard. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, AV. AV, how you doing, big guy?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. They finally got my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
It's a matter of time, man.
Yeah, it's been long enough, dude.
Unfortunately, right in between George Lopez and Charlie Chapman. That's tough company, man.
That is. I have some big shoes to fill.
Who do you think is more recognizable by name in the year 2019? Charlie Chapman or George Lopez?
No one knows who Charlie Chapman is, but I think people know who Charlie Chaplin is. But...
Well, there you go. There you go. That answers the question, doesn't it? Hey, let me put it this way. Charlie Chaplin was not the villain of Spy Kids 3. Spy Kids 3D, pardon me.
So. I'm sorry, I'm not well-versed in white culture, so that's on you, my dude. That's on
I
you.
saw the time I've laughed the hardest on the internet. I've seen a lot of funny things on the internet. But the thing that was the most funny to me was a Facebook page I stumbled across one time, and it was called "I Believe That Junie Cortez from Spy Kids is God." And I was like, man, this is what the internet was made for.
I love it, man. I love it.
But man, hey, AV, I got a couple of good newses. Doesn't make sense. I got some good news for you, AV. We have 2 new countries.
Oh wow, it's been a while since we've done this. Why don't you tell me where people are listening from?
Yeah, man, we've been a little shy on the world domination front. I think we've still been getting new countries, but we just haven't been announcing them. But we are taking a trip to Latin America this week, AV. Paraguay. I said that weird. Paraguay. And Argentina. Nice.
That's cool.
Those are some big ones, man.
Those are some big ones, honestly. I'm a huge fan of Argentina.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite thing about Argentina?
The good air.
I heard, get this, that the Argentinian currency, exchanges favorably from the United States perspective, and the U.S. dollar guarantees that we could get a steak dinner with some good Argentinian wine, all for just a few dollars, or a really affordable rate. I'm not sure the exact amount, but
are you some weird like middleman who has this ghetto travel agency they're trying to sell me?
AV, I'm taking you to Argentina.
All right, guys. If you don't hear back from me in like a week,
but man, I'm happy that we're back. This is kind of us returning to form. Recently we've been doing some. I had a solo show, AV. You had a solo show, and we're back. We're reunited. We're together. We're talking about Smash, and it kind of feels good, man. It's kind of I needed a little bit of a break. I'll be honest, for transparency's sake. But now that I'm back in the driver's seat, I'm just really excited about this episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. We have a pretty solid topic for you guys today. It's going to be about victory.
Because it's sweet, sweet, sweet victory, yeah. Is that copyrighted? We'll find out.
I mean, as long as you sung it badly enough, I think we'll be okay.
Well, I think we're good as far as that's concerned.
No, fortunately, you are good singers, so if we get copyrighted, that's on you. But we're gonna be talking about winning, all kinds of winning. Because we win. That's all we do.
Yes.
On Beyond the Metagame.
Yes. Yeah, I win. You win. Our listeners certainly win.
We have the biggest winning.
We're the best winners by far.
But we just want to kind of talk to you about like what it means, like what you feel right before you're about to succeed. What you can take away from success, and what it means to us and you. What do you have to add to that, Peon?
Yeah, man, I was starting to talk about it. I have a theory, AV, that there's a big difference between playing well and actually getting the W or the W's. And I want to delve into it. I don't want to quite yet. Before we get into today's episode, I do want to mention that we have a Discord community. Join it. There's never been a better time to join. It'll be in the show notes and in the YouTube description. Additionally, BTM has just launched our much requested merchandise. And so if you want to look just absolutely delicious, completely sexy, you know what I mean? Very attractive. And if you want to do it while repping the BTM podcast, go ahead, take a look at it. So let's get right to it. Welcome back to Beyond the Metagame. This week, AV and I are here to talk about victory. All right, I'm talking beating bracket demons. I'm talking about winning tournaments. You know what I mean? Earning the right to write a fire post-tournament tweet. You know what I mean? Getting that prize pot. Earning that glory. AV, what do you got to say for yourself?
I've just won so much, and I've just done so many cool things that it just doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
You're just this empty shell of a man with a blue ribbon.
No.
Was it all worth it, AV? Was it all worth it?
Yeah, it was, but not anymore. But
how many tournaments do you think you've ever won in your entire life?
I don't know, like five or six. I don't remember. But
those are rookie numbers.
Yeah. I know, Mr. Number One in your region for a while. Well, you got to earn it back because.
Oh, don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. Look, baby, I look better in silver. Quite frankly, can we make an episode about getting second place?
All right. Well,
I think I'm an expert at that. No, but it's cool. I think on the topic of this, I think it's definitely true for both you and I. We went to a lot of tournaments before ever winning one, right? I mean, I think I probably went to 50 before I ever won a tournament, maybe more. I think it's pretty typical, right? And the tournaments that I've won and you've won have only ever been like regionals at biggest. Like we're not like. I do want to like, we're kind of fake bragging, but I mean, our accomplishments aren't so great, right? But I do think that there's something to say about making that journey between going to your first few tournaments, winning some online matches, you know what I mean, and eventually like winning your first tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a lot of. I mean, we've talked about it before, but there's a lot of different ways you can win. I mean, when I like win against a really good player, or I like pull off something that I never thought I could do, or I start beating someone that's really good in friendlies, like I get kind of the same feeling that I do when I win when I did win in tournament. Obviously it's not the exact same. There's this like really great competitive like fire that ignites in you when you actually win a really big tournament. But the thing is that it's all about perspective, right? There's like a lot of like really cool things we can take away from this experience.
Yeah, I do think that. Get this. This is a theory. I think that the same feeling I get for winning a tournament is the feeling when I win just like a match on Quick Play, for instance, or I win a match like in a battle arena online. It's the same feeling, but with a different magnitude.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's just like there's some cases where like there's this link that's all they're doing is like rolling and firing arrows, and there's like 1 second of latency. I feel like the feeling I get when I win that match is so much greater than when I win a tournament.
You know what? Can I say something?
Yeah.
Link mains more than anybody else are always trashed, for being laggy online. But Link mains in person are always so chill. You know what I mean? Like, the Link mains are always the nicest guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe they're like so chill that they like didn't pay their Wi-Fi bill and they're just like on some satellite connection. I don't know what it is. They're always really cool guys, though. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. But I agree. The point being is that like there's so many situations where like the feeling is the exact same, and I guess psychologically that would make sense. But it's weird that like something as trivial as winning a quick play match could be equated to the magnitude of winning a tournament.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. I think it's all about like little victories, right? And I like what you said about perspective. Like some people, when you win a lot, let's say you're 0, right, and you're at the point where 0 won 57 tournaments in a row in Smash 4, right? At a certain point, those tournament victories start not to feel good, but rather feel like relieving. You know what I mean? It's like a happy thing. It's like, whew, thank God I won. You know what I mean? Whereas maybe someone lower on in that bracket, like who like drowned in pools, maybe they won one match or one game. Maybe they took one stock, and they were so honestly happy about it. Like they're like, wow, like, I didn't do too well, but I took a stock, and that guy was good, and he beat me, but I was able to get a stock, and there was genuine joy. Where maybe the guy who won the whole tournament was just kind of relieved. It was kind of cathartic at best, but obligatory at worst. Have you ever felt that way?
Yeah, I have, and there was a point. I actually think my numbers are way off. Like now that I think about it, I think I actually have won way more than actually 5 or 6 tournaments.
Wow, it's just growing throughout the episode.
Yeah, it's gonna keep growing, dude. It's gonna keep growing.
What's the number right now? It went from 5 to what? 10? I would say you won like 10.
I think 6, somewhere around there. Like but the thing is, it's enough to the point where I have felt that before. I don't think I could have gotten to number 1 or region twice without that would be so fraudulent, because I was also like part of the PR panel, so I'd just be putting myself
you're just manipulating the stats.
Yeah,
but no, that's a good point. I mean, like, I think that learning how to win, in the terms of like how to deal with your victories, how to contextualize them, how to analyze them, is almost as important as like learning to win. You know what I mean? Like learning how to win correctly, like taking a victory and applying it. I think that like there's something so logical about losing. Maybe you're playing a game of Smash and you get hit with a F smash, right? And it actually hits you and you die by it, right? That's a really good lesson learned. Okay, this guy wants to F smash me. I should avoid that, right?
But there's exactly the thing that I learned against you. That was
right. But here's the thing: even if the F smash doesn't land, right, and you don't, or maybe you don't die from it, it's still just as important to learn that lesson. Whereas sometimes it's easier to lose from defeat than it is from victory. Sometimes, when you lose in, let's say, a grand finals, right, and you get second place in a tournament, it could be so motivating. You know what I mean? You have that villain, you have that flag to chase, you have a pacemaker in front of you who's like telling you how fast you need to run to win the race, and it's motivating. Whereas when you win, sometimes it's easy to get complacent, and I could distill that to any event. Like when you achieve your goals in life, or talk about achieving them, sometimes it's hard to keep growing. It's easy to grow content. Have you ever felt that way?
I was always really, really content with wherever I was, which is interesting. Once I'd kind of gotten to the point where I succeeded, I hit my goal of where I wanted to be in my region. I didn't, because we were so like isolated from the rest of the world for the most part. I did feel like a lot of that competitive drive faded away. And it's interesting because I started to recontextualize my goals into no longer like winning, but actually training other people to start winning. So most people are not going to be winning tournaments. I mean, I barely scrape into top 8 at the locals that I go to. And it's really important to understand where your W's are coming from when they're not directly in your face.
Yeah, yeah. What's up with like that phenomena, dude? Like, have you ever thought about that? I don't know. Like, it goes back to the first time I ever watched the Melee documentary, right? And you hear like Ken deal with his isolation at the top, and Ken talking about, oh, the success just wasn't really fun for me anymore. People just wanted me to lose. I just really wasn't motivated anymore. And you kind of saw the same thing with, Mango did the same at a point. Armada's doing that right now, where he doesn't really find passion in competing in Melee anymore, even though he had such a dominant reign. And then, you see it with Zero and Smash 4. It's just kind of a universal trend that we see, where when people achieve their goals, they kind of become complacent. They kind of become uncomfortable. They lose their drive, man.
So, I mean, let me throw that at you. So you, from what I've heard on this podcast and outside of it, felt exactly that way. So did it make you stop competing? Did it reduce the time that you played the game outside of the game? What did it do to you?
Yeah, well, you're referencing a point in my, in quotation marks, career, where I was the number one in my region for a long time, about a year. And I was just, I definitely did not feel as motivated to play anymore. But, maybe there's something to that. I mean, Smash isn't everything. If you do complete your goals, that's fine. I mean, I think that I just wanted to accomplish some other things. I was just kind of bored of Smash 4 at that point. I wasn't really... I don't really know if I was like demotivated by success. But I definitely think of this though. I felt like I improved the most in my Smash in quotation marks career when I was losing. When I was doing poorly, I felt like I was so tenacious. Like I was such a better student of the game, and my victory made me a bit lazy, in hindsight.
All right, question then. I mean, this may seem like the biggest Smash first world problem, but like how do we keep going in face of victory? Like how do we
how do we trudge through success? No, it does sound like a stupid, especially because you and I haven't really had a crazy amount of success. The point that I want to clarify: everybody has success in their own relative way, right? And we're just talking about the way that we experience it, right? Maybe your success is winning, getting to Elite Smash and GS on online, or maybe it's just beating some douchebag that stole your girlfriend, right? I don't know, whatever it is. How do you stay motivated despite? How do you keep improving despite? I don't really know, AV. I don't really know. I was kind of hoping you're the smart guy.
Well, the thing is that in cases like this, it's all about pivoting, right? It's like earlier I mentioned that when I was done, I had my time where I was best in my region. I was happy with that, and the seasons after that, I wasn't really disappointed when I fell from grace. I was focused on helping the community, running events. I spent a lot of time helping people practice and watching other people climb to the top. And I mean, there is this huge trope, right, of these it's like this is such an anime or TV show thing for these successful people to retire and start training others.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's a reason why this trope exists. It's because that's what you do. Once you've won and once you've done once you've put in some quality work, you now have all of this huge knowledge base to go and create something that's bigger than yourself. And I think that's the huge thing. It's once you've reached your goals, it's okay, now what? How do I affect other people with it?
Yeah, maybe not contextualizing your goals as this start line and finish line, but rather as one stair on a staircase. You know what I mean? You know, whatever your goal is, accomplish it, and then your next goal should be, okay, and how do I use this accomplishment to take me to the next place on this journey, right? To get me up this next stair, right? And maybe this stair, I don't know where the staircase is leading, heaven, but you just keep on going up and building on it, right? That's kind of the idea.
Sure, yeah. I think that's more or less what you have to do with it, and this applies to everything. Like you said, like, what if your goal is getting Palutena into Elite Smash? Like, first, a lot of people, like especially people who don't play the game as competitively or don't have the time to dedicate to it, that's a goal that could take a really long time. And the thing is once you're done with that, it's like that's such like a binary goal that, like, once you're done with it, it may seem hard to figure out a goal that's like very directly above that. And you have this knowledge now, and now you can start helping other people out playing Palutena. You can go to the Palutena Discord, you can answer questions. You have all of this, like all of these like tools that you've learned on your journey available to you that can not only help other people but also help you develop maybe your other characters. Maybe because you played Palutena, like that our character archetype works well when switching over to a different character and getting that character into Elite Smash. So stuff like that, finding new ways to contextualize your goals, and also moving it outside yourself is something that's really useful.
Well, that's kind of the cool thing is, like, when you, for instance, take that goal, like we were talking about, like getting Palutena to Elite Smash, right?
Yeah.
What you learn along the way isn't just how to get Palutena to Elite Smash. It's you learn, you know, how to teach yourself to do something and to accomplish a goal, right? You're learning kind of the fundamentals. I will cite this in the show notes and in the YouTube description. But there was this cool article I was shown today about why people are gravitated towards fighting games and what value they bring. And there was this awesome quote where the author of the article was talking about how fighting games encourage introspection. You know, let's say you make a mistake, you pick a panic option, and you get punished for it, right? And you're trying to think, why did I get punished for that, right? And the natural progression of questions you ask yourself was like, okay, why did I do this? Why did I pick this panic option? And the obvious next question is, okay, well, why am I like this? Why am I thinking these ways? Why am I reacting these ways in these situations? And you easily can see how you'll fall down the rabbit hole of like deep personal introspection. And when you learn anything in a fighting game, you have to learn like how it relates to your own psyche and why you're making the decisions that you're making. And teaching yourself those skills like a fundamental level carry on into any passion or hobby or obligation you ever have. Like, if you could learn how to get Palutena into Elite Smash as a noob, you could learn anything.
That is really true. Like, I mean, now I know why I like fighting games with all this introspection that's going on.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that's true. To obviously, like, obviously, there's a few steps in between, like, getting Palutena into Elite Smash and doing everything, but
you can become God. You can jump off a high rise. You can do whatever you want. Ever seen like that one like Key and Peele sketch where it's like irresponsible television, and like
No.
like a guy like wins the quarter or wins the Super Bowl or something, and he's like, "You could do anything. I want you to jump off of your roof right now. You will fly, kids. You will literally fly if you want to." And the reporter's like, you know, maybe this isn't, you know, the best thing to say to a kid. No, you will literally take flight. This is not a metaphor.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not doing that, to be clear.
Yeah, I don't think you were. It's just to be clear, it's like, just understand what the framework is. Like, what have you learned? Like, how did you like what made you start looking within yourself? So I completely get where you're at. Makes a lot of sense. Something I wanted to talk about is like we think about all of these different moments where we've seemed to have won something, or we reached this place where we're happy with ourselves. But there's this cusp. There's this like chasm that's always in front of us before we make this final breakthrough. And why does it seem? And I want to talk about why it seems that this is the hardest part, not the entire journey along the way, but just breaking through that final barrier. Have you ever like been in situations where it's like you seem like you've done all of the prep work, you've made all of the correct steps, it's just that final breakthrough has been the hardest thing for you?
Sure. I mean, specifically as it relates to Smash, I've definitely had like mental blocks. I would define them as where I've practiced a matchup, I've studied a player that I need to beat, and done all of the prep work that you think that you should have done, and you still don't come out with a W, you still come up short, and that could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe you just didn't learn something you should have learned. Maybe you just weren't playing well that day. Maybe they had been putting in their own work at an equal or greater rate than you were. There's a lot of different factors. So, I mean, I've definitely been in those situations before. Yeah, is that what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, this is more of a setup of saying that, like, in these situations, your brain, your mentality completely shifts. Like, you're now in a high stress, high pressure environment. Whether or not it's like regardless of like the context, whether it's last stock, last hit, grand finals, or whether it's last stock, last hit in quick play, your hands are sweating. You have lost some of your mental focus, and your brain starts to wander, and there's a lot of invasive thoughts. Training your brain for these situations is hard. And I think that's one of the craziest things about anything competitive is how different this environment is.
Yeah, it's kind of like the clutch factor, right? It's like what the greats have in any sport, like the Kobes, the Michael Jordans in Smash, like the Hungry Boxes, the Zeros. And yeah, actually being able to perform as you need to, when you need to. That's kind of what, sports psychologist Steve and us were talking about when we had him on. Love that guy. And he was talking about how the concept of like the zone, like being in your perfect mental state where you're just kind of in flow and everything's just kind of happening organically, is so hard to recreate. Like you can't force yourself into the zone. It's like the Avatar state from The Last Airbender. Like you can't just force your way in there. And what you have to do is focus on the times that you can control. So when you are conscious of your thoughts, like what should you be thinking? What self-talk should you be employing? And that's kind of the thing about when you're about to win. You're about to beat a bracket demon. Maybe you're one way away from getting an Elite Smash, or maybe you're one win away from winning your first local or first match in your local, right? And you're getting those doubtful thoughts, like, hey, you just might beat this guy. If you take this stock, you'll pull off this upset, and those start to creep in, and suddenly you're not adapting. You're just kind of playing for the victory. It's dangerous, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of thinking about this, and there was this great interaction at Summit where the French player Glutony, he was talking about his set against Zachary. And for those that don't know, he 3-0'd Zachary pretty dominantly. But after the match, he didn't seem like he didn't seem like it was he didn't act like it was easy. He didn't act like it was just a breeze. There was simple mental experience. What he talked about was how much in those final moments he had to get rid of the thoughts of I am about to beat this really big player. He basically related it to all the times where he was playing someone that was about to upset him, and he would be thinking, okay, this lower level player thinks that he's about to beat this like he's about to be gluttony, and he's like, and it's like, so he's probably like quaking in his boots. So it's like, and I just have to do my thing, and he's gonna slip up because that's probably all that's on his mind.
Yeah. There's definitely some power being the seasoned veteran or being the projected winner of a match where the other person really wants to win, right? I definitely think there's some power in that, but I think on the opposite end of that, it's like when you are making that upset about to happen, when you're about to get that W, okay, this guy doesn't want to get upset by me. This guy doesn't want to lose to me. And I definitely find power in moments like that where it's like, look, this guy does not want this loss on his record, and I am going to make him have it. I love that position.
Yeah, absolutely, which is why it's super cool that he was able to show an example of where he basically took that situation and said, no, like, I will choose to think about what I want to think about. I can format my brain to work the way that I want it to. And I think that's super cool. Like the fact that you can control your mind so strictly in high pressure situations just shows like such a large amount of discipline and mental acuity that is clearly due to it's clearly learned over like so many competitive experiences.
Yeah, I definitely think that early on when I first got into competitive Smash, I definitely would have that self-doubt creep in a lot, very often. And after the set, it would just haunt me so desperately. So like, you were so close, Dane, but you just choked. You just choked. You started to get in your own head. And the formula that's worked for me, and this isn't universal, but I will actively catch myself. It's important to catch yourself when this happens. To say, okay, this is happening. You're letting yourself be doubtful. Stop it. First of all, cut it out. And second of all, replace those thoughts with productive ones. So what I do is the moment I start hearing that crap in my head, I channel it to, okay, what is he doing? What has he killed me with so far in this set? What are his common kill setups? How do I avoid them? What option did he just choose from the ledge? Okay, how can I punish it next time? I literally start having this mental dialogue where I explain the match and I just kind of talk myself through it. Do you do anything like that, or do you do something entirely different?
I love that because it's a nice like hybrid of what sports psychologist Steve told us to do about acknowledging our mental dialogue. But you took it one step further, and you just had a mental dialogue, and you just like kind of like are going like full bore into this conversation with yourself. I think honestly, when I play, it's like blank. Like, do you ever have moments where it's like AV, like whatever, like so, I don't know why it sounded like the ghost of Smash Past. but do you ever hear like anything? I do. When there's times where it would be like, in fact, literally this last week, I was about to be like a really good player. I was dominant. I like the first game was a 3-stock. The second game I was up 2 stocks to 1. And I had that thought. It was like, yeah, all you have to do is take this 1 stock. I literally had that thought. I had that exact thought. It was word for word that. And I said, and I told myself, yeah, that's not really productive. You shouldn't have that thought. And then I just went back to I just went back to kind of my usual blank state. So I don't have a dialogue. But
wait, did you win the match?
No, I didn't. I lost.
What happened?
That's the crazy part. I SD'd.
Oh my god!
I know.
No podcast episode could fix that one, Abhi. Come on, gay.
And it's unfortunate. Like and what I took away from it was sometimes there is no. It takes such a strong level of discipline and mental strength to be solid in those situations. I mean, not only do you have to have all of your movement and your characters and the control of your character down, which is what cost me the game, because I actually SD'd twice that set. but it's just about learning that you do have full control of your mind, and basically you like stretching it to like, first of all, putting it like in environments that are good for you, having productive conversations with people, having like friends that motivate you properly, eating the right things, basic stuff. But other than that, making sure that you are always like you said, thinking productive things, and you're able to get in this habit of replacing thoughts like you demonstrated really well.
Cool. I mean, you could have just said I agree.
Well, that wouldn't be very AV if but I totally agree, but it's weird that I don't actually do that, and that I'm preaching it for you. I kind of just remove the thoughts and don't think anything else.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's my disclaimer of saying this might not be best for you. For me, if I don't actively replace my self-talk, my internal dialogue, with productive internal dialogue, the doubt will just flourish, right? It'll manifest. It'll multiply like bacteria, and so I have to replace it with some positivity.
I think I'm gonna try doing that actually, because I don't know. might as well give it a shot.
Just give it a spin. Give it a little test drive, baby.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like the idea of being productive and positive, so that's something that I'll have to report back to you on.
Sure. So let's talk about how to practice this, right? So I don't think that there is, to win in any sort of way that matters to you personally, right? So beating an opponent that you really want to beat, or a tournament you really want to win, or whatever. There is that kind of emotion. There's that feeling of pressure. There's the feeling of expectations. There's the feeling of doubt. And it's a hard thing to practice, right? I think, we've referenced, if you're a veteran player, you learn to improve at it. But are there any shortcuts? Is there any way to get to this, like just with your buddy or with your friends, other than just by recreating seemingly stressful environments? Like, hey, if you lose this, you have to do 20 push-ups or whatever.
No. I don't think there is. And that's the crazy part. I mean, obviously there's some psychological and genetic differences between us all. I think the amount of stressful situations you've been in overall, whether it's Smash or not Smash, is actually really important. So if you're talking about outside of Smash, then yes. But I think overall, it's about recreating stressful situations.
So you're telling me like open heart surgeons will just be like super like prone to make upsets in Smash brackets?
Yes. I mean, I think the amount of open heart surgeons that are also competitive smashers is probably too low to do an actual study on.
Okay, wait. Here's your experiment. I want you to theorize, right? You have a control group of just 100 random people, right? And then you have 100 open heart surgeons, right? You all give them the game for a day, right? One day they're going to play the game, and the next day you sign all 200 people up to a tournament. Right? You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Any set that any of those guys will play against a seasoned competitor would be a potential upset. Who's getting more upsets? The 100 open heart surgeons or the 100 randos?
Well, I think that's a weird one, because I think a lot of them probably think it's just a fun thing and they probably wouldn't really feel pressure. But let's just say, but let's just say that I like the idea though. Let's just say that we had a situation where you kind of got all of these people into a competitive league. Like you had a hospital, you like pitted the surgeons against the against the scribes or something like that.
Okay. Scribes? What the hell is a scribe? Like a writer? Like an ancient record? Are they like ancient record keepers?
Go look up medical scribe on Google after this. But in any
medical
case,
scribe. What if what is that? Are you making that up? Medical scribe?
I am not making this up. It's an actual job. It's a good job. But let's just say you pit these two against each other. In that situation, because the surgeons have been in so many more, probably theoretically, this is just on average, have been in a ton of high pressure situations. I postulate that they would be superior in this test.
All right, man. Pour one out for the medical scribes, baby. Going home empty-handed.
But I don't know. Like, I think it's an interesting thought. I think the more every stressful situation, like think of every test you've had to take. Think of your driving test. Think of your school, university. Think of that one time that you had to get something working at work. All of these really high pressure situations. How did you respond? What was your brain thinking? Did you think about giving up often? Did you did you respond productively? Every single one of these situations, you can take this and use it as an experience to get better at Smash.
On the flip side, I think it is kind of cool that getting better at Smash might arm you for all those situations too.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a crazy thought. You're absolutely correct. Like, I've definitely taken so much away from my high pressure situations in Smash. Like,
I just imagine like my car just flipping on the freeway, and I'm like, "Honey, it's okay. I'm losing blood, but you know what I did to that Lucas on Final Destination. I'll clutch it out, baby. I always do. Don't worry about me. Worry about you. I saw you at a 1 and 2 last week."
Oh my god! But I think I could. Is it weird that I could totally imagine you like saying?
I probably would. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
not
funny.
weird.
But I think it's true. I've taken so much away from these high pressure situations, and when I've been in one of these outside of Smash, I just think about, okay, I literally think about it as if I was playing a high pressure tournament set, and I say, okay, there is no giving up, there's no escape. Either I win or lose this. Like, if you're playing a high pressure Smash game and you're down 3 stocks to 1, you're not, like, most people, 95% of people are not walking away. They're gonna fight it out. So
I feel like we always like paint these like Smashers out to be these like mentally resilient, complex, well armored citizens, right? And like these responsible, methodical, analytical geniuses, right? That's kind of like the BTM depiction of the average Smasher. But then I go on Twitter and I see like a tier list that depicts which character is most likely to have a foot fetish.
Dude, I think that's like the duality of man. is so wonderfully and succinctly described.
Okay. Yeah,
But,
I think you're right. I'm okay with that explanation.
But I actually, well, to your point, I actually don't think most people are armed with this kind of mental stability. I think this is in theory what we'd like the BTM squad to eventually get to.
It's an ideal, right? I mean, you and I aren't perfectly there either. I mean, it's something to strive towards. It's a process, not like it's not like a representation of the present. I mean, you and I aren't experts on all this stuff. I mean, we have a perspective, but we're not perfect.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, it's like we're not like anime characters. Like it's like in anime, like literally after like you're successful at anything, it's like you have to explain exactly why you're successful at it, and like nothing ever goes wrong. It's like there's always this dialogue that's going on, like in the middle of a fight. Like nothing ever makes sense. The protagonists never lose. Like everyone.
Who is more of an anime character, you or I? Because here's the thing. I haven't seen a ginger in anime. Maybe that's like some new. It's like I think Goku Black has pink hair in the new Dragon Ball Z, and you're Indian, right? But India is in Asia.
I'm trying to. I don't think I've watched an anime with an Indian in it. But I have. I'm literally watching one with like two gingers in it. So I don't know what I think you're I think you're done, dude.
You think it's me?
I think it's you, dude.
All right, you heard it here first.
I think you'd make a great anime character. I think that the freckles are really what would do it.
Yeah, not like my soulless gaze.
No. Or your ruthless bloodthirst for victory over your opponents.
Speaking of victory, I think we should wrap this up. At least our main topic. AV, what are your final thoughts on this? How do you think people should contextualize not only their gameplay, but their approach to that end result, their approach to that the game screen popping up, that red pause where the game freezes right when your forward smash connects and the opponent is inevitably going to fly out of the blast zone? How do we get there?
That's such like a that's such a big question, but I feel though it's because like right when you said that, I had this like beautiful image of the finished screen, of like that zoom in.
Yeah.
And it's like what do you feel? And I was just thinking about when you said that to me, what do I feel when I see that screen and I know that I'm dead? I know it's not going to be a false finish. And I think whether I win or lose, I am relieved a little. Because I think at the end of the day, like whether or not you win in any of these high pressure situations, you got through it. You didn't quit. You didn't throw down your controller. Well, hopefully. And you took it. You took responsibility for your action. Because once you've completed something, whether you win or lose, you've achieved something. And the thing is, wins are cool. Like we always strive for them. It's what denote every single step of the way along this like crazy path. And yes, we're learning how to recontextualize our wins, and we're learning how to like how I said in the beginning, how I moved from wanting to just win tournaments to help and teach other people how to win tournaments, and which I'm actually currently doing, well, hopefully today. But the most important part is that completing things, whether or not it's matches in quick play, whether or not it's completing that O2 in bracket, completing things is an achievement in itself, and that is probably the biggest thing to take away.
That was beautiful. All right. So without further ado, we have some questions lined up. First one, AV, I'm just going to throw it at you. All right. Stick your hands in the air, Governor.
Another one?
I know. Actually, you know what? You know what? Fair. You could ask me this one from Dapper Duck. You asked me. Okay. You can take a break. That was beautiful.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right. Dapper Duck says, I got 2 questions for you. Oh, you got 2 of them.
Ooh.
I don't remember if either of these have been asked for. That is cool. We will answer anyway. First, are there any other games that you've played before getting to Smash competitively that you feel might have transitioned your skills with said game into Smash, or might have given you an edge in Smash? Second, are there any other games that you enjoy that is currently being played competitively, like League of Legends, Call of Duty, Overwatch, etc.? Or do you just stick to Smash competitively and play more relaxing games when you're off?
Yes, I Dapper Duck, thank you for your question. I love talking about this kind of stuff. So, before I got into Smash competitively, I've always been a competitive guy, right? Ever since I was a little kid. I had an older brother, 6 years older than me, and he was into gaming and sports. So, you know, I was always trying to beat him. You know, I was always stupider, slower, shorter than him. But, you know, so it was kind of fun. I was like, I wanted to beat him. I wanted to catch up to him. So I've always kind of had that mindset. And growing up, I played a lot of Warcraft 3, the RTS. And as I got a little bit older, I got into the Halo series, Halo 2, Halo 3. And after that, I got into League of Legends, where I played that from a very competitive perspective for a long time, for years. And honestly, all of the games that were really pivotal in my life that I took very seriously and wanted to actively improve in, all very much shaped the smasher that I am today. They very much, I learned a lot of lessons from those games. From League of Legends, one thing I took into account was accountability. Blame everything on yourself, so then if you have all of the blame and all the responsibility, you have all the potential to improve your situation. You know what I mean? That whole idea I learned from playing League of Legends solo queue and getting matched with very, very, very mean teammates over and over again. So I definitely think that those helped me out. Abhi, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I've been in the exact same boat as someone who played League of Legends for 7 years. I've gone through my share of the gauntlet of weird teammates.
That game will change a man. The abuse. I've never been bullied in my life. I've been surrounded by lovely people my whole life. I've been very lucky in that sense. I've never received more abuse per minute than while playing League of Legends.
Yeah, that and Xbox Live have been too kind to me. But I played a ton of League. I played a lot of solo player rhythm games. I think there was nothing more awesome to me at the time as when I played Through the Fire and Flames on Expert in Guitar Hero.
You can do that?
Yeah, I probably still can. I should. I
don't know why that surprises me. Actually, that makes sense.
Yeah, and literally all of my friends wouldn't even think it was cool. They just say, "Why didn't you just go play actual guitar?"
Oh, that's lame. I would have been hyped for you, my man.
They thought it was cool, but that's what they told me. They just make fun of me for it.
I have Guitar Hero 3 at my house. If you can play it the first time on Expert, I will buy you your beer of choice, maybe. Deal?
Oh my god.
We can record it for the Discord.
All right, deal. It's not gonna be pretty, but I'm gonna try it anyway. But yeah. I mean, I've played a lot of games, and whenever I did something, it would be competitive. Mostly because I like being better than my friends. I didn't have any siblings growing up to play video games with, but I played a ton with my friends, and I always had this competitive spirit, which, like Peon said, shaped me into the smasher that I am today.
In terms of games that are currently being played competitively, I love Counter-Strike, CSGO. I play Overwatch off and on. I was, a good Overwatch player, Diamond Master level player. And, I still play World of Warcraft at a pretty high level. And I watch. So I love competitive games. I play more than just Smash competitively, long story short.
Yeah, I think Peon's good at literally every game he plays. I can say this for
Scrabble.
Okay, that one I might be able to catch.
Oh, come on, man. Kiori asks, we often hear about negative mentality holding us back, but at what point does confidence turn into unhealthy cockiness and prove as a detriment to play?
Well, this is a nice foil to our episode today, because we talked about how winning leads to this kind of contentment where we just don't do anything at all. Whereas we didn't really talk about the other side of winning, where you just kind of become this ball of unrelenting ego.
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, we do have a whole episode on ego, so maybe we talked about that a little bit there. But you're right. I mean, this is a serious concern. I mean, they're definitely. I think you said it well.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Like, I think there's like this point where you get to where it's like, let's just say you have this like a small pond, but you're the big fish, and you're just you're playing with your friends, and all you're doing is winning, and you just think you're hot shit. But
I have an answer for this.
Go for it, dude. What do you think?
One word: entitlement. Confidence is when you believe you can do something. Cockiness is when you believe you deserve to do something, right? You believe that you've already won before you've walked into the match, right? So confidence is potential. and cockiness is assuredness of outcome. So I think that you should be optimistic. You should believe in yourself. You should expect to win. You should, know that you have the power to win. But if you do fall short, understand that you're fallible and that you are not some demigod. You have to earn every victory just like everybody else.
I like it. Yeah, that's a great answer. All right. Well, I'll throw another one at you. Westchester asks, "Who is your favorite character to watch? I may not like to play Incineroar, but watching him make epic comebacks and be a constant threat even at low percent is always hype for me."
That's a cool one. I do like watching Incineroar play. I like Incineroar. I like playing as Incineroar. I like playing against him, and I like watching him as well. Westchester, I agree with you. Is it stereotypical if I just say Captain Falcon?
I mean, this game, dude, Captain Falcon's really hype in this game when he's doing well, but it's not often.
All right, we won't say him just because that's too easy. Do you have one that comes to mind instantly?
So a lot of people probably don't agree with me on this because I know I'm a strange bird, but
okay.
I like watching Snake actually. I really like watching Snake, even though people find him really annoying. I think Snake's super fun to watch. I love watching him like set up this huge minefield around the stage and people just running into stuff and like throwing out like 4 up smashes and then like a bunch of missiles in the air.
Yeah,
this is a huge fireworks show and it's so explosive. Obviously, playing against it isn't the most fun thing, but that is who I really like watching in this game. Other than DK, of course, DK is easily my favorite character to watch. Other than Snake.
Yeah. Other than I don't want to just pick my main here. You know what I mean? I love watching Inklings play because I understand what's happening, and it's just kind of fun to see. Like, oh, I would not have done that. I would have done this. Like thinking through the match is fun. Mm-hmm. But in terms of just from a viewer's perspective, I love watching Wolf, like Zackray's Wolf, for instance, at Genesis, was some of the most fun I've ever had watching Smash Ultimate. So I guess he'll be my number one. I love watching Wolf. But for some honorable mentions, I love watching Fox and Pichu. Like, for instance, Void is super fun to watch. I love watching Light. Pretty much, they're just fast characters. They have crazy combo game. And they also die really early, too. So you just see a lot of really explosive matches. I like action. I'm an action man. I'm a simple man.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think when it comes to players, Zackray is absolutely my favorite player to watch. I don't know any other Wolf players that I really enjoy watching. So I absolutely agree with you on Zackray. Literally my favorite player to watch. So I think that's a good one.
Ferris asks, being relatively new to the Smash scene, about how long does it take to determine who the top player of the game is? And about how long is it usually until tier lists start to look all the same? 5 majors? A few months? Does everyone just kind of make it up as they go along?
It's like a bit of everything. I mean, sometimes it's easy. Like most of the time, like there'll be eras or epochs as you call them of.
I've never used that word in my life. What are you talking about? What's an epochs?
An epoch? It's another name for a period of time. Don't you love how I give you these vocabulary lessons on the show?
You're like my own calendar. I can just take a look at you and be like, okay, well, redundant. That's a cool word, redundant.
But
do you think redundant is a long enough word to make it on a word of the day calendar? Probably not.
Really?
No, I'm asking you. You're the word guy.
I don't know. That seems awfully random. I'll figure it out and I'll tell you.
All right.
But in any case, I think there's like eras of like Smash. There'll be periods of time where players are specifically dominant. It's not always obvious, like when Zero won 57 tournaments in a row and got first on literally every PGR because he just literally won way more tournaments than it seemed humanly possible. So it was pretty obvious in Zero's case. But sometimes especially now in Melee, they're like it seems really obvious that Hungrybox is dominating, but there was like a period before this where he was kind of fighting it out with a few of the other top players, especially Armada, and the thing is that it's not really something that is ever stable. People are always changing. The beautiful part about Smash is that people are getting better, people get worse, the meta completely changes. So that, in terms of the players, that's how it is. Why don't you answer the part about the tier lists?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of tier list, you usually get a lot of hype first takes where people just kind of... it really actually kind of annoyed me, I'll be honest, in terms of Ultimate when it first dropped. How everybody was saying these universal, definitive, like Zero's kind of clickbaity, like, this, the best character in Ultimate, like a picture of Inkling. Or like, before the game came out, everybody universally agreed, oh, Pikachu's the best in the game. Obviously. Look at him. And it's like, look, man, this stuff takes time. So it kind of depends game to game how long it takes. Like, for instance, Melee has had a very storied tier list throughout time. There's been a lot of different tier lists as time went on, right? People thought that Marth was the best in the game, Sheik, Puff, Fox, Falco. It changes all the time. If we talk about at launch vanilla Smash 4, Diddy Kong was seen as the best character in the game very, very quickly because it was so obvious how good he was. In terms of the rest of the tier list, who knows how that would have taken shape because with patch cycles and all that. But we won't really have a definitive, very, very, very widely agreed upon tier list until the last patch of Smash Ultimate ever drops, and there's a decent amount of data after that update hits.
Yeah. Sorry, I was I was about to say, like, Melee's been out for so long, like just a ridiculous amount of time. And I don't think we'll ever get to that point. But I don't think that the bottom half of Smash Ultimate's tier list will ever be stable. I think that is my prediction. Melee's was because of how obvious, like, most of the characters, like how obvious, like, the faults of most of the characters were, and the roster is like 1/3 the size or 1/4 the size.
Yeah.
So, but I actually don't think that.
Well, like 1/10 the size when you only count the characters that are viable.
Yeah, exactly. I actually let me rephrase that. I think the middle 40 to 50% will never be stable. I think the bottom will be fairly stable. I think the top will eventually stabilize. I don't think anyone ever gets mid tier right.
This is my prediction, Ferris. The tier list, especially the top 15 or 20, it's going to start. I mean, we're already kind of seeing people universally agree on, okay, the best characters are some combination of Pichu, Peach, Daisy, Wolf, Fox, all those guys, Lucina, Olimar, and people are starting to come to a consensus. But the day that patch 3.0 comes out, you can go ahead and throw that all to the curb. People are going to be arguing again. Stuff's going to change. It isn't going to set in stone for quite a while.
Yeah. It takes a ridiculous amount of time, as we see in Melee. So I absolutely agree. That's a good point.
AV. This brings us to the conclusion of this week's episode. Where can people find you, my friend?
People can find me at A plus my long Indian last name. Vaidyanatha.
Whew. Vaidyanatha. Say that 2 times fast.
Vaidyanatha.
You're good.
That wasn't that fast, but it's not hard. It's actually not hard to say. But where can people find you, Peon?
People can find me at Peon_GCE. That's Peon_GCE. That is Golf Charlie Echo for all of you Catholics. And, of course, you can find our show at Beyond Metagame. At Beyond Metagame. You see, Twitter did not allocate any room for the, and as mentioned previously, you can find us active, engaged at our Discord server. If you join the server, I guarantee this to you personally, that AV and I, likely, or at least one of us, will welcome you at least within that day, probably very often within that first hour that you join, if you do it during the day, in our time zone. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to play games with you and join you, or have you join our awesome community. But that is all for now, guys. As always, thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.